the recording.
Cool. We're good to go?
Yes, we're good to go. Thank you.
All right, cool. Yeah, welcome everybody. And those that are going to join us as we go along to this session. I've been looking forward to this session because of what is happening in the art space, especially with the influence of AI, some emerging tech, some emerging initiatives that are happening. So this covers the broad space on in the creatives, in the composition space, in the writing space, or what we can colloquially call the copywriting space. It goes down to so whether it's writing poems, whether it's writing books, whether it's books of different varieties, whether it's children's books, whether it's novels, it's fiction, whatever the genre, to music, composing music, all genres of music. And we'll have a case on ChatGPT and Music ML. I will do some demos and just cover a little bit in depth to video, cinematography, generating videos, to design, to drawing, to photography, the cases scale up even to fashion. I don't necessarily have a use case for fashion that I'm going to show, but the whole generative space covers that space as well. So just for a start, I'm going to show you I'm going to start with a video that I'm going to show you. This is done by Apple, and I will play it twice or thrice because it's a little bit tricky. So I'm going to challenge, some of you might have seen this already. So it's Apple Fusion. So just to give a high level, the lady there's the original text of what she said, and what she said, it's PG-13. So there's some swear words that she originally said, and she was edited in real time. And she was also translated into different languages as well. So I'm just going to play it. It's about a minute. It's about 22 seconds long. So let me just play it, and then we'll take it from there.
Tower in the middle of nowhere, and I don't blame you. And now we're stuck on this stupid freaking tower in the middle of freaking nowhere, and it's all my fault. Es todo por mi culpa.
Okay, maybe that was a bit too fast. Let me play it again.
Tower in the middle of nowhere, and I don't blame you. And now we're stuck on this stupid freaking tower in the middle of freaking nowhere, and it's all my fault. Es todo por mi culpa.
Okay, so I'm gonna play it again, but explaining now what is happening. So the first part, this is a R-rated language where she's swearing. There's a 3D modeling and a dialogue removal that's happening.
Stuck on this stupid
now,
freaking tower in the middle of freaking nowhere.
She was edited in real time.
And it's all my fault.
And translated to Japanese and translated to Spanish. So this is tech that is being perfected by Apple. I hope it should it should excite you and maybe scare you a little bit also. So essentially what we are seeing here and I'm going to share the link. I'm just going to drop the link. Or I will share the link on the chat. I can't see the chat now, but I'll share the link so everybody's going to have the link. So this is part of what we call deep fakes, where Henrik will say something and somebody would record you and you are saying something and they literally use your facial expressions, they use your language, they use your context, and they generate coherent in-context video with context sentences and emotion and expressions and everything, as if you said something that you actually have not said, whether for good or for bad. So this is happening, and imagine if we just came from a COVID situation right now. I see there's some charts here. Oh yeah, more scared than yeah. Let me post the link there. I'm gonna share that link there. So more scared than excited, Deborah says there. But in this is a good example. She was actually swearing, and she was edited in real time, and they actually removed that R-rated language to a little bit more friendlier language. So this is one of the use case, but the same thing, if not regulated, one can utilize the same to make you say things that you didn't say. So anyway, welcome to AI. That's what we are able to do. And I thought that would be sort of a good start to grab your attention, but also to showcase the capability that the AI space has grown to. Some of these really scary capabilities that has been developed, and I hope that as part of this session, so I call this artificial intelligence a K for the creative arts, and as I've outlined the creative arts, all the genres or the different subdivisions that are covered in there. So I hope that as part of this, I will allay some of your fears, and I will also inspire courage and inspire vision and inspire you understanding to actually understand what this whole AI space is. I think Yonela and Tammy did mention their interest in AI. Oh, by the way, Yonela and I are in the same team, so she's actually my colleague. So yeah, in terms of what we're going to cover, I'll give you a little bit introduction now, who I am. We'll look at some objectives of what we're really going to cover, and just zoom in on large AI models. We will look at ChatGPT. We'll look at what we call Refusion. We'll look at voice AI, and then we'll look at music LM, and we'll also look at DALL-E 2 as well. There will be some live demo that I will show you, and then we'll look at what these things are and what are the implications or what are their applications, and then we'll look at some challenges and opportunities that actually exist. And yeah, I think just to nail the point, once again, that's what we're going to cover. And just a little bit, I mean, there's a lot of you guys know me, so I didn't know who was going to be here. So I had this prepared, but yeah, suffice to say, I've got about 17 years experience in the IT space. My background is as in computer science and statistics. I did my undergrad. I went on to do a postgraduate diploma in data science and business analytics, Texas University. And I just recently completed my executive postgrad in data science. And I'm about to complete my master's is due now in June, August. And I'm an aspiring PhD in machine learning. And also in the creative space, I've got Henrik. Him and I have done some photo shoots, lots of photo shoots together. I'm a retired, and emphasis on retired photographer, and I collaborated in the content creating space with several brands such as Daniel Wellington. Some of you might know them. Fujifilm, OHMS, Shutterstock, IOL, Picturestock, and whatnot. At Vodacom, I lead a team of data experts where we develop various solutions using machine learning, ranging from fraud, churn, sentiment analysis, whatever the case. So I think oh yes, Chief, welcome, Chief. I think there's a little bit of background. Yeah, there we go. Welcome, Chief. We come all the way from Polokwane. I think Chief is joining all the way from Malawi. Good to have you on the session, but so in any case, I conducted some. I've created some content on machine learning, classical machine learning, that I often. Some of you guys mentioned, you see me posting about it, and I have sessions and all the stuff. So I host community boot camps where I teach do live code alongs on machine learning. And occasionally I get invited to both local and international platforms to talk all things AI. Just a few weeks ago, I was invited by the Vice Chancellor at CPUT to come address the Executive Council, and we were looking specifically on ChatGPT. So just to mention a few, in my photography days, I was once classified as 5 incredible photographers in SA, and by Shutterstock. Shutterstock is one of the big stock photography platforms. There, I indicated I collaborated with Fuji. I was a featured photographer on the Fuji SA. This is content that is there that you can. So I have been. I think the point there to land is I've been active in the creative space. So it's a space that I understand. And then zooming into today, we're going to look at the intersection between AI and machine learning. And I know Tumi will be very excited about this because she mentioned what the objectives are. So we often have heard these terms being thrown around and being mentioned. We've had AI, we've had machine learning, we've had data science, we've had reinforcement learning. Deep learning, DL is deep learning, DS is data science, and then we've had reinforcement learning. So what are these things? Let's try and demystify the beast that is AI. So AI is the big umbrella, and it literally refers to any intelligent machines or thinking systems. So this came all the way from the 1940s and the 1950s. You might have had names such as Alan Turing being thrown around, or as well as the Turing test, where a system where an observer would find it difficult to distinguish between an intelligent system and a human being based on the intelligence that they seem to demonstrate. So AI, in simple terms, refers to any system that can be deemed as intelligent or can be classified as a thinking system, not necessarily be looked at as a machine. So that's what it colloquially means. Machine learning is a subsection of AI, and in this case, we're referring to classical machine learning. And machine learns in three forms. There's what we call supervised learning. That supervised, in simple terms, it just refers to the fact that the data that they use is pretty much a structured data, or otherwise called labeled data. A labeled data for all our intents and purposes, is what we call an Excel format. Data that is in an Excel format that has got columns and rows, and the columns are clearly labeled to say, this is a transaction ID, this is an ID number, blah, 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 blah. And then unsupervised is the opposite of supervised, is data, structured data, is data that is unstructured, or it's the data that is not labeled, in other words. So what you generally do in machine learning, machine learning as a discipline on its own, it's a combination of mathematics, statistics, and computer science. And what you pretty much do in there, there's two major groups that you pretty much, two major things that you do is what we call regression, where you're trying to predict something based on continuous data, i.e., when you're trying to predict the price of a house or rental in a specific suburb, or you're trying to predict a share, the price of a stock. That is a type of regression. Or another group is what we call classification, when you try to classify cancer. Is this cancer malign or benign? That's another. And then we got semi-supervised is just really in between these two there. And then we've got a subsection under machine learning, which we call deep learning. Deep learning is an area where we use neural networks. It largely, it's called computer vision. So this is where your Tesla, this is where your motor vehicle, computer vision, security systems, surveillance systems, and many other applications come into play. But the most important thing that I want to mention here is this. So these are the different subsections here. You got artificial neural nets, you got convolutional neural nets, you got recurrent neural nets, and you got transformers. We're going to zoom in very quickly on transformers, because all these things that we're talking about, the large models, are actually centered around transformers, and transformers are a subsection of recurrent neural networks. And then we've got a subsection called reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning, to explain it in simple terms, is a subdivision of AI which simulates how human beings or parents or teachers relate to learners or kids. Normally, we reward good behavior and we punish bad behavior, or do not reward bad behavior. So this section of AI is centered around that. So what you do pretty much is you create an environment and you define some rules, and then you create agents, you put them in that environment, you don't train them. But whenever they do something good, you reward. Whenever they do something bad, you either don't reward, you withhold reward, or you punish that action. So pretty much that's what happens. And then what is data science? Data science is a culmination of all of this. Whenever we leverage any of these domains to solve a specific domain problem, whether it's in fraud, whether it's in risk, whether it's in marketing, it's in legal, it's in music, it's in the arts, whatever the case is, whenever we leverage any of these domains to solve a specific domain problem, normally that is just referred as data science, because you are utilizing data. Is there a question? Okay, cool. I thought there was a question. Let's proceed. So, unless if you were living under a rock, you probably have heard this term being thrown around, ChatGPT. And I want us to zoom into ChatGPT, and we're going to do a quick live demo of what ChatGPT is. ChatGPT, in simple terms, is a conversational large language model that is created by this company called OpenAI, based in the US, co-founded by Elon Musk, and Microsoft is one of the large investors. All this model does is it generates content, all sorts of content, whether it's copywriting and all that will zoom in, it generates all sorts of content. It was trained on the whole of Wikipedia, body of knowledge, and many other sources as well. So hence, we use the word large. The large, it refers to the volume of data through which it was trained. It has 500 billion trained parameters. So we've just to put things in perspective, we've never, in the existence of mankind, we've never created a machine or a model that has been trained with this many parameters. This is the first of its kind that was trained on this many parameters. So it really is a large model, as it were. It can create, and I want to emphasize, coherent sentences and can self-learn on the fly. So this is a model that you can have a conversation with, and it can keep track of what you are conversing about, and it can always remember what you guys spoke about a few hours ago. The one big weakness with neural networks was they are good when you are using them now and you wanting them to make references, inferences now, but 5 hours, 10 hours later, when you want to refresh and leverage that knowledge, they cannot remember what you guys did or whatever problem that you solved. You almost always have to retrain them again. But that's not the case with ChatGPT. It is coherent. It remembers what it did, but it's got a limit up to a certain time. So it generates coherent text. That is, it can guess what is the next word in a sentence that you're trying to do. That's one of the features. It can write articles, poetry, research papers, supports many languages. Officially, it said that it can support up to 95 languages, but unofficially, it can support about 1,000 languages that it can support. I know for a fact it can support all the 11 South African languages. I've tested it on that. I've done multiple translations on that. And we can do an example very quickly. It can outline, if you give it, say you're looking at the big body of text, say the Constitution of South Africa or any body of knowledge, you can ask it to outline and give you the top 10 most important themes that are present. It will do that. It can also give you summaries. You can give it a large body of content and say, summarize, or say summarize the 10 Commandments, or say summarize the Constitution of the country, or say summarize the CFA exam, or say summarize the medical exam, whatever. It can do that brilliantly with speed and precision. It also generates suggestion based on any body of thought. So you can give it a paragraph and say, this is a start of the paragraph. Create me, write a book that's got about 200, and I think currently it's limited to 250 words, 250,000, 2,500 words on the free version. So you can say, write a book, write a kid's book, expand further on this. It can do that. It can write and debug code. It supports multiple languages. I think currently, officially, it supports 12 programming languages, but unofficially, it supports actually more. It's been extended, at least on the free version. There's a paid for version as well. So it can explain content in different comprehension levels. You can tell it that I am a 5-year-old, explain Einstein's law of general relativity. It can explain it to you like you're a 5-year-old. You can say, I'm an expert in nuclear physics, explain a specific law or the standard model as an expert. It will explain that. It does do some mistakes. We will talk about that. But for the most part, it does these things brilliantly and elegantly. it is a conversational and it is conversational and it understands its limits. So there are instances where you will ask it to do certain things and it will tell you, no, I'm a model, I'm trained to do this, I don't understand what you are saying. A quick joke here is told, somebody actually prompted it and said, what is 2 plus 3? And then ChatGPT said 2 plus 3 is equals to 5. And then the person says, you are wrong, 2 plus 3 is not equals to 5. My wife says 2 plus 3 is equals to 8. And then ChatGPT said, I don't understand. Logically, 2 plus 3 is equals to 5. And then he says, no, but my wife says it's equals to 8. And ChatGPT says, okay, I accept correction. 2 plus 3 is actually equals to 8. So in a joking manner, it can do such things. So I'm just going to move quickly. We're going to, there are other examples as well that we have, other AI examples that we have. OpenAI also have what we call Dale E2. Dale E2 is, the concept is the same. However, this one specifically accepts prompts, text prompts, and it converts those prompts to images. I'll show you an example. And then Google, I'll also show you an example on Google. They just released this right now in January. I think it was the 22nd of Jan. This model called Music LM. You can actually compose music in multiple ways and at different degrees and whatnot. It's their first version, so it's not as advanced as ChatGPT or Dale E2, but you will see the kind of things that you can do. And then there's Voice AI, which you can actually use to train, to change voice. You can speak like Barack Obama, you can speak like Elon Musk, you can speak like Nelson Mandela, you can speak like Morgan Freeman. It can imitate pretty much any voice that you want, and you can generate what we call deep fakes. And we will look at such things. And before we proceed any further, I just want to pause in here and see if there's maybe any questions based on where we are up to the slide where we are at this point in time before we do a demo. Is there any questions from the floor? Any question, comments? Sorry, you can help me in this regard, but I don't know if there's any hands.
Yeah, no, I don't see any hands at this stage. Looks like we have got a very bright audience. They grasp everything.
Okay, cool. Cool stuff. So I'm gonna try and log in. I'm using the free version of ChatGPT, and I hope that okay, ChatGPT is available. Yes, it is available. So this is the interface for ChatGPT. It's a conversational. It's a conversational GPT. Everybody can go and register. It's open for everyone. The free version is open to everyone. You can go and register. It's a very useful tool. Just to show you. It keeps history as well. You can imitate. I don't know. Can anybody give me Browning? You had your hand up, I saw. Or was it? Probably not. Can anybody give me a prompt? What would we like to prompt ChatGPT? What would you like to create? Can we write a song maybe using Jay-Z? Let's see. Write a rap song about Valentine's Day using James Brown style. As an example, Valentine. Let's see. Quickly, let's see what ChatGPT says. Okay. All right. Okay. So there it is, busy writing a song about Valentine with multiple verses. And as you can read, the songs are very coherent. As you can see, it's got all the key aspects of a song, and you can go and edit. You can say maybe using Jay-Z style. Let's see if we use Jay-Z, what it's going to do. But I think you already got the gist of what it does. And I also want to show you something as well. So look at the rhythm. Look at the rhythm that it does. The boys. Oh yes, Andile, I see your prompt. We'll try that as well. Look at all of this, guys. I mean, think about how long for the musicians in the group. Imagine how long it takes to write a song. And imagine doing that, infusing ChatGPT into your style of writing a song. And let's say write a 10-line poem about the great Malawi. A poem. Okay, let me just let's just, I don't know what's going to generate, but I've restricted it to 10 lines. So let's see what it can come up with. So it's taking, it's thinking, and okay, so it's writing something. There we go. In the heart of Africa lies a beauty so grand, a land of warmth, culture, and music. So grand. Okay, it's people so friendly, always. Okay, let's let it write about 10 lines and see what it can come up with. So, I mean, look at the sentences that are being pitched. Chief, can you just tell me, is this a proper reference about Malawi people, Denza? I don't know very well. How accurate is this? Is there such an entity within the Malawi ecosystem or tribe? Is it close to home? Especially this part? I don't know if Chifundo had me there.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm in a noisy place, so I was muted. But yeah, it's very accurate, and yeah, we do have the mountain range and the shores of Mangochi. That's all on point. Looks very accurate and nice.
Oh wow! There we go. So this is ChatGPT, guys. If you look at the history, I've done quite a lot of things. There's some stuff I've done with CFA. Here, long, I asked it to outline a comprehensive but detailed CFA code of conduct. It gave me the CFA code of conduct as it has. What are the main themes covered for the CFA exams? It gave me the main themes that are covered through the CFA exams. And then I say, do a cross tab for the main themes covered for the CFA exams, indicate the percentage of coverage for each topic against exam level 1, 2, and 3. This is a very difficult prompt. I expected it to fail, but look at the results. And these are accurate, by the way. Oh, the other thing that you can do, this shocked me quite a bit. I must admit, this shocked me quite a bit. It shook me, yeah. So I said, list top 10 products, units sold, and their total sales, sort largest to smallest, that are best sellers for Facebook Marketplace in Cape Town. State your source, and then I asked it to switch the internet off, to not browse, to give me on its train data. And then it gave me this. It told me the iPhone 15 had sold the iPhone had sold 15,000 units, and its selling average price was, okay, the total sold price was that much, sales, and the source was Facebook Marketplace. I went on to verify if this data was correct. And I bet you it is, the accuracy is highest in there. You can go to Facebook Marketplace, especially in Cape Town. You will see that these items are top sellers in there. And I took it down to, here, give me the quantity, price, volume of mayonnaise consumption, sort largest to smallest in Gauteng. And it gave me, and somebody verified that this is very accurate. List top 10 photography equipment sales, quantity, price, etc. in Cape Town. Quote your source. Hendrik, you'll be very interested on this one. And I'm sure Hendrik can confirm as much as I can. This was based on which year was this? This was based on 2019 data. At the time, this was correct. So there's a lot of things that you can generate with ChatGPT, from poetry to music to, any copywriting. This is what ChatGPT, as we've seen, can do. And then now let's switch over. So here for the creatives, is you can ask it for tips for themes that if you want to shoot, tips if you want to write a song that trends within a specific genre, tips if you want to write a book targeted to a specific market, to give you guidance, or to start you over. The limits are endless. And as you can see, it's you can ask it to do Christmas cards. You can ask it to write a will. You can ask it to do just about anything and everything. The limits are endless. And then income daily E2. So these daily E2, as I indicated, it's text to, so here's a prompt, for instance. I asked it, create a portrait of an African male professor with gray dreadlocks, wearing oval glasses, playing a harp. And this is what it created. Here, what did I ask it? A full body portrait of a zebra in tiger stripes playing harp in an orchestra. Like really some crazy things. Here, what did I, an astronaut playing soccer at Mars. Here, I said an astronaut riding a dragon, which is spitting fire. Yeah, like there's a lot. I want us to generate one. When I was looking for when I was looking for creating this, I requested it, I prompted it, I said, draw up a human realistic poster that show a robot creating music using a Rembrandt style. And it generated this. And then I changed the I said now using painting oil, and it generated this. And the one that I used on the poster, where's the one that I used on the poster? Where is the one that, here's the one that I used on the poster. The poster for this invite, for this session. This is the one that I did. And the prompt was, draw up a human realistic poster that showing a robot playing a piano using expressive oil painting. And it generated this content. So this, it does seamlessly in no time. There are some challenges with this. And I remember I was talking to Sodi quite a few days back. There was a time when sculpture was a big thing in the art space. There was a time when drawing was a big deal in the art space. But in came photography, and those practices died. I have a feeling that applications such as DALL-E 2 may do to photography what photography did to sculpture and painting. That's the not so good side of it. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news in that space. But on the other hand, photography will remain as a genre, but it will be what film photography is today to digital. So it will be for the elite, for the purists, for the people who still enjoy to go and shoot. But the demand for photographers, I see it going ever so diminishing. I mean, for once, these cameras that we're using today are so much integrated into, integrated and infused with a lot of AI. So every other person out there almost has a camera in their hands that is infused with AI that is so capable that now you can just give it a prompt to say, you can tell it to say, take a picture of me doing this and this and that, show this and this and that, and it will generate exactly that. So that's kind of like where we are going. That's maybe the scary part. On the other hand, photographers are very much fundamental, especially in computer vision. And we're going to talk about this in the bias space. We train these models using content, using pictures. And these models are trained in Silicon Valley and whatnot places. Some of those places don't have our content. And photographers are people that generate content. And photographers are important people to generate content that speaks to our demographics, that's going to showcase our cultures and traditions and our whereabouts, etc. Because there's a saying in our space, if your culture, your language, your traditions, and whatever is not digitized, it's as if you do not exist. So there's a big space that photography is a content creation space. Create artists, painters, designers, and whatnot. We play a very big, important role, and our infusion with AI is even ever so important to preserve who and what we are, even in the future. And I won't labor the point anymore in that space, but yeah. And then there's I'm not going to dwell much on this. Real-time AI voice changer. This is called voice.ai. I'm going to post all these links on the chat. What this does is and you can go and download this if you want to play with. It pretty much helps you to do deep fakes, and you can change your voice, and you can do all these things. And as we can imagine, all these things come with certain challenges and certain opportunities, and we're going to zoom in into those things. And a very interesting one for musicians is what Google released a few days ago. This program called Music LM, generating music from a text. So again, it's a text to music prompt. You give it a text and it generates a sound. For instance, in this case, this is the description. This is pretty much the caption that you would give. You want the main soundtrack of an arcade game is fast-paced and upbeat with a catchy electric guitar riff. The music is repetitive and easy to remember, but with an unexpected sound, like a cymbal crashes. So this is a prompt that you will give, and this is what it's going to generate. I'll just pause it there. And the examples are endless in that space. These are the simple prompts, and that's the output that you get. The different, so imagine how long it takes musicians to write a song, and then you have your producers, your technical folk creating beats. I mean, that process of creating beats, it's a very long and lengthy process. Now you can just do that using a program like this. Using a sentence, you can just generate a sound. You know, and yes, it's still in its infancy, but this is what you can do. And what it does, you can also do long generations as well. You know, that is a prompt that you can do, and it gives you this. And you get the gist of it. You can also do story modes as well. You can tell it at time, between time 0 and between time 0 and 0.15, do this and that. Between this time and that time, do this and that. Between this time and that time, do this and that. So, Marena, so Music ML does as well. It has a section where it you can give it a text and then it generates images. But Dial E2 specializes on that. So Dial E2 is by OpenAI, Music ML is by Google and whatnot. But it also does text to images as well, just to answer your question. Please click again. We couldn't hear anything. Okay, just let me know if you can hear this. Sorry, just let me know if you guys can hear this sound. Okay, thanks for the thumbs up, Brian. So that's the sounds that you can create. And then look at this. You can do text to melodies. You can ask it to generate melodies. For instance, Bella Ciao. And then this is the output. Okay, these are the prompts in actual fact, yeah. So imagine that, and this is the output that you get. I'm gonna play it again just in case. And the list goes on. As Hodi is releasing an album tonight because he's got a tool for it. So this is the richness of it. Sorry, I moved away from that. This is the richness of it. To your question earlier on, to the question that was asked. So this is a prompt that generated this. His melting clock, imaginary modes, the rigidity of chronometry, blah blah blah. You can read the whole thing, and this is what is generated. The point being, you can move from simple whistling to simple prompts and specifying time facts to simple sentences, you know, simple prompts like this, to actually to complicated prompts like this. And this is tech, this is AI within the generative AI space. This is what you are able to do at present, day to day. And I've seen comments there. Deborah says, I've just been shaking my head since you started in disbelief. So this is the AI, this is the capability that we have, albeit in its infancy. If we can say it's this is the capability that we have in AI. And these are the things that you can do. And I'm just going to, while we are at this, I'm going to put,
Bax,
yes.
just a bit. There was also a question that came earlier.
Yes.
They say, how is ChatGPT going to make money in the future if it is free? Will it pay the content creators that it references? That's from Andile.
Okay, so Andile, first, at Taiwan, OpenAI has a pay-per prompt model or pay-per-use model. So there's the free version, which is limited in processing time and availability. So it's almost always used up. You can't always access it. So, but they've got a professional version or a pro version of it. In fact, let me show you. I'm not yet in the pro version. I don't think I need a pro version for now in what I'm doing. So here, upgrade 2 plus. I think you pay about $220 per month, which is about 300 Rand a month or so per use. So OpenAI is making money via the pay-per-use model. And then 2, these prompts that I've created, more especially on DALL-E 2, there's a platform somewhere where I can go and register these prompts and the output and actually can sell them. So as a third tier or as a third party, I can go and sell my own prompts to other people that may want to have the same content as well, or who would want to use mine as a base and they can evolve it to anything else. So in fact, there is a role that didn't exist 3 months ago or 6 months ago, which is now called prompt engineering. And I will just prompt engineering. I will just do a wiki on this. It's a new role altogether that didn't exist a long while ago, where they actually are going to hire people who understand artificial intelligence to create prompts, sophisticated prompts, as you've seen. And those will be bespoke prompts. They will be solving a specific problem that you are solving for, whether it's in design or whatever field, whatever domain that you are in. So they say the best time to get into AI was in 2012, but the second most best time to get into AI is today. So you guys are getting this. I mean, you don't necessarily need any specific qualification. You just need to understand what AI is. And I believe that I'm giving good context here and good explanations. And within your domain or whatever, you can go and become a prompt engineer. It's going to become a recognized career. It's not jokes. It's Yeah, and there's many more roles that there's more roles that are going to be generated that AI is going to create that don't yet exist as we speak at the moment. So there's going to be a lot of that. So anyway, let me quickly cover this. I might have load shedding. So if I do have load shedding, I will proceed to continue with our program. I just want to cover so this was just in the demo. I just want to cover the slide quickly. So just a quick background in as far as large models are concerned. In 2012 is what we call the miracle of ImageNet, where neural nets really became very prominent and they were absorbed into the market. Just a pretext, in 1995, there were self-driving cars that were being, AI was being demoed in Silicon Valley. But what happened was the winter of AI, companies stopped investing in AI because it showed a lot of promise and it under-delivered somewhat. But in 2012, the ImageNet miracle happened and there was a breakthrough using neural nets. And in 2014, the first generative artificial
Okay, I think like he did say that he might have load shedding, so he will.
Can you hear me, guys?
Will rejoin. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So I will need to reshare my screen because can you see the slides?
Yes, we can see them. Thank you.
Okay, great. Load shedding just happened now. Always ESCOM is always on time. Anyway, so in 2014, a gentleman by the name of Ian Goodfellow, it's his name. He was doing his PhD. He was at Google, and University of Waterloo in Canada. He created what we call the generative adversarial neural network with a generative model. And in 2017, there was an evolution of GANs, which is now called the transformer, of which ChatGPT is based on, and all these models that I've shown you, Music ML, DALL-E2, and all of them. There was a paper that was released, and it was titled "Attention is All You Need." You can go and Google it. You'll find it. It's a very nice read to read along. And then the first transformer was created. The two architectures of what we now call large language models. It's one by Google and OpenAI created theirs. They call it GPT. GPT is short for generative pre-trained transformer. That's what it simply means in short. And then what then happened was, in terms of its predecessors, ChatGPT in particular, GPT was created first, and then there was GPT-2, which was better and bigger than GPT, and then there was GPT-3. After GPT-3, GPT-3 made a lot of, it caused a lot of stir in the market. And soon thereafter, they released Copilot. Copilot was the one that GitHub released that could help you write code. I mean, you can write a lot of code that could take you 6 hours to write, can take you 30 minutes to create now. People are creating websites using ChatGPT, for instance, but that was Copilot still. And then DALL-E2 was released last year sometime in, I think, April or so, when I started playing around it. And then Midjourney, there's another one, a competitor to DALL-E2 called Midjourney, was also released. It does exactly the same to DALL-E2. And then ChatGPT was released on the 30th of November last year. And then GPT-4 is rumored to be coming this year. it's going to be trained over a trillion parameters. So it's going to be an extremely large model. And let's just go on, and I want to show. So some key milestones that ChatGPT in particular overcame. It took 5 days only to reach 1 million users. Just to put that in context, it took months for, I think, close to 2 years for Google search and Facebook to reach the same amount of users. In fact, ChatGPT is the fastest app to reach over 100 million users. It did that. I mean, it was released in November. It reached 100 million users in January. So it took it less than 3 months to reach 100 million users. That shows you the demand that is out there. And then ChatGPT recently passed Wharton's MBA exam. Wharton is in the top 10. Wharton MBA is in the top 10 globally, and it's not easy. Their MBA program is not easy. And ChatGPT actually passed. I see there's a comment there. Let me see if I can. Sorry, help me, but I can't read the comments. If you can maybe check and let me know.
Okay. There's the first one was a question that was saying,
yes,
what qualifications would one need to pursue to tap into AI space? And following that, okay, this one was just a comment to say scary. I fear for a lot of people being redundant, a lot of markets being disrupted, and people losing their jobs.
Okay, great. We'll address both of them. Is that all?
Yeah, yes, that's all for now. Yeah.
Okay, great. So what qualifications do you need? The qualifications vary, but the great news is as follows. If you go on YouTube and you're looking for machine learning content, it is galore. There's a lot of reputable people who offer you from beginners to an expert level content. There's a lot of content that is available. If you go to Coursera, there's a lot of content on machine learning. Some of it is, most of it is free, by the way. It's if you go to IBM, machine learning, data analytics, there's lots of free content there. If you go to LinkedIn Learning, they offer free content on machine learning. If you go to Udemy, there's a lot of these free online machine learning courses that you can get. There is also paid for. I also run boot camps from time to time within the community where I cover on a specific subject. However, if you want a structured environment where you can pay and you actually going to earn a specific certificate, there's platforms, Udemy, Coursera, many platforms that offer such facilities where you can pay. Great Learning is another, Upgrade is another. There's many platforms that are available where you can start and you can learn up to different varied degrees of difficulty, from simple programming to analysis using Excel, to learning Python programming, to data science using Excel or using R, and whatnot, to going as further as reinforcement learning. There's post-grad programs that you can enroll. Different universities do offer that in machine learning. So yeah, the avenues are quite a lot. And there's open data science platforms. There's Kaggle. There is Zindi. There is GitHub, where you can get code. People normally, the people that create YouTube videos, they leave their code on GitHub. So you can actually look at their code and follow along on their YouTube videos. So those facilities have been made available. On the second part, the fear and the is AI going to render? And as you can see here, I was actually going to maybe let me leave it until I get here. Let me just continue, and then we'll address the fears that AI poses and the whatnot. So I was saying earlier, ChatGPT passed the Wharton MBA, and it also passed the legal, the bar exam for law. It passed the bar exam for law, and it recently passed the medical exam. Today, there's a guy who says ChatGPT passed the is that a question or is a background noise? I think someone.
It's just a background noise. I will try to mute them.
It's cheap. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. There we go. That we've resolved that. So anyway, so somebody said in the US, ChatGPT passed the immigration exam. Normally, you need to have 60% to pass the immigration exam. It passed with over 90%. So that was, I saw today on Twitter, some guy that I follow posted that. Microsoft, which is a co-investor on OpenAI, has integrated ChatGPT to the Azure cloud and Office 365. And then now let's come to that question. Is ChatGPT salient? In other words, is ChatGPT close to human intelligence, or what we call in AI, artificial general intelligence? If you ask my opinion, ChatGPT, it is that good. And a lot of these large language models are very, very good, but they are not yet salient. They are not yet at a state where we can classify them as a human intelligence. They do what they do very, very well, as you've seen the capabilities. But we should understand AI, and we should see AI for what it is. We should see its strengths, and we should see its weaknesses, and we're going to cover its weaknesses. I think I've emphasized a lot of its strengths so far. AI is a friend to have, not an enemy. I have indicated, if you are an artist and you want inspiration, ChatGPT can be your inspiration. Whether to create, to come up with brilliant ideas, you can ask it for prompts for advice, etc. In finance, in composing music, you know, we can use AI to advance our courses. We should not see it as the enemy. AI needs us, as I indicated, to preserve our cultures, our traditions, to digitize our presence online. AI needs us to generate data through which it can be trained so that our identities will be known in the coming generations, etc. And I hope that clarifies. In terms of jobs, so there's two things there to be said. One, I made my comments regarding photography, for instance. I say that AI is going to make photography what photography did to sculpture and painting. But we will still have photography in the future. Maybe in a transformed format, not in the format that we're having it today. We will still have music in the future in a transformed format, maybe not the generation and all that. We will have movies, we will have videos, we will have, you know, Midjourney has a module that we can use using prompts to create videos, you know. All these capabilities, we should look at them for what they are. And what they are is we should not be scared of them. We should leverage this technology and advance our course as a civilization to move forward. it's not meant to make us redundant. It is a tool to have, the same way that cars did not make walking redundant. They just accelerated movement. We should look at AI in the same way. I think I've labored the point quite a bit. Sahori Mkhotsi, I see there are some comments there. Would you mind to just facilitate on that?
Yes, yeah. I think the comments, the latest one, it was just Hendrik jumping off, so there's no questions or anything. So you can.
Oh, great. Okay, yeah. Awesome. So look at Browning is here, and I know Browning is I know some of her involvements in the community, especially within the Koi and the San space. There were fears quite a few years back that there's only one person who is left alive who can speak the original San language and the Khoi language. Now we've got this technology that we can use to preserve such and to actually have that language taught to future generations because it's digitally preserved. And a whole lot of people can learn. You can, it's amazing what you can do with use cases such as ChatGPT, for instance, tools like ChatGPT. Our cultures, our traditions, our customs, our way of doing things, our nuances and everything. We need to infuse that with technology going forward. Anyway, I think I've labored the point.
Just hold on. There's a hand from Bronwyn.
Yes.
Bronwyn, you can unmute it. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for this great session. It's very informative, and it's obviously a major gap analysis. And I think that really everybody who can, especially where we are at in this transformation, industrial revolution, we need to be steps ahead. So well done to the team and everybody that's also participating tonight. And I hope we can actually get more people to become more awakened in this domain. I just want to add on to what Bax said there in terms of the digitalization, especially of the language preservation. I just want to make a note that PanSal, they've already launched a multi-lingual dictionary. So if anybody's interested to learn and expand on that, there is a digital app that is already out. I will see if I can quickly send it on this group chat. Otherwise, I'll send it directly. Are you going to create a group also for us? And I also want to know if there is going to be if we can get the recording and maybe even the slides. I missed the first 20 minutes of the introduction because I ran late. But yes, I'll send information through as I get it. But there's a multi-lingual dictionary that was launched about 2 months ago. I think 3 months ago already, and it's available on PanSal, and you actually get the book also.
Awesome.
So yeah, thank you so much. Just thought I'd share that.
That's great. So I think the recording it's still happening. So you would get I think yeah, the plan was to distribute it afterwards. I'm happy to share the slides as well in a PDF format, and I'm open to if anybody you want me to address, whatever audience, to personalize it, to speak bespoke to a specific audience, I'm also happy to come speak. Otherwise, this video should be able to reach a whole lot more audience of people that weren't able to come and attend here. So anyway, let's move on. In terms of applications, so we've seen, I've demoed all these capabilities that we've seen. Some of us are very shocked and surprised and awe. Some of us are excited, and I would like to think the majority of us are excited after having seen what we've seen and understanding what is at play, understanding the weaknesses and the whatnot. And we'll look, I think in the next slide, we'll look at the weaknesses and whatnot. So what are the applications that we can have? So we've seen we can do compositions of songs, videos, beats. We've seen that. In the research space, ChatGPT can write research papers. It can suggest topics. Interesting on this, I asked ChatGPT to give me 6 different research topics on PhD because I would like to study my PhD further. And then I said, on each topic, give me an abstract of about 1,000 words. And just like that, it just gave me just like that. So when I was presenting to the Vice Chancellor at CPUT and the Executive Council, that was very interesting for them because, as you would understand, as a learning institution, they were interested on the research part. And are there policies that needs to be formulated around that, ChatGPT detection and whatnot, the ethics around it, etc. Anyway, so that is what happened. Copywriting, all sorts of copywriting can be applied using these. So it can help you to generate unique ideas. You can ask it to create a poster or a tweet or a Facebook post or whatever, commercials, etc. Code writing, debugging, and code explaining. You can give it a code, COBOL code, whatever, and say, explain this code. It can explain it in different degrees. Websites, people do those things. There's many applications used as a chatbot. It can be used as a chatbot, as a question answer scenarios. It can reference existing content with speed and precision, add varying complexities. It can solve all kinds of problems, maths, physics, econ, and whatever. Varied different languages, different domains. These tools can do a whole lot of this. If the other way to think of it is, what if you had Einstein as your brother, as your elder brother in your house, always readily available to assist you, do what you need to do. Einstein wouldn't do everything for you, that would help you do what you need to do much more efficiently. I think that's how we should look at AI. It's the assistant, it's the brother, it's the cousin, trusted brother or cousin to have readily available in your pocket. Okay, great. Moving on to the next. So let's look at challenges and opportunities. So what are the challenges? There's a saying that I've already mentioned. If your language, your culture, your music is not digitized, you don't exist. So that is a challenge that is there. As content creators, as art people, as artists, we are often looked at as custodian of our languages, our culture, our being. And for all the right reasons we are. And we should be the people who infuse all of that creativeness with AI so that AI is trained on the right type of content. We should all play a part to, address the biases and the variances that exist within the digital space. So we have a role to play to infuse AI into this digital space with our existence, with who we are, etc. I think I've labored the point. These large language models, they suffer from what we call hallucination problems. Hallucination problems is a problem that exists largely within neural networks. And what it literally means is you can ask ChatGPT something and it can just hallucinate, it can just give you gibberish things. Every now and then it happens. So this is a problem that researchers within the space are actively working on to address. The inherent human biases, I think I've already covered this. I don't need to labor the point. Lack of policy regulation within the education space and many other. In the arts, I was speaking to a very prominent artist, a friend on Facebook, TC Maila, and he asked the question, so if somebody creates a deep fake of me, do I have a right to sue that person because they're sort of imitating me? So I said, my answer was, you should be able to sue, but it would prove to be a difficult thing, especially in our days of social media, to crack down who was the creator. It's very easy to find who is a distributor, but to find who was the creator, it will be a very difficult thing. But say you find the creator, yeah, you should be able to sue. But that is just adding the complexity of the kind of problems that we'll be solving in the future. The issue of ethics, and this is very broad, there's challenges around ethics. Can you use ChatGPT to write a research paper that can be published? There is a person that created an exhibition art using DALL-E 2, and they actually exhibited that. And it caused quite a stir. How do we look at that? As a musician, somebody mentioned here that they're going to create an album tonight. If you create an album using these tools, what is the reaction in there? But at the same time, I know there's a big label, music label in the US that use this AI to actually create songs that go on and trend. So from the lyrics to the beats and all that. So what are the limits? What can we do? What can we not do? So these are some of the challenges that are still open. So this problem of hallucination always requires the need for knowledge validation. It requires a human in the loop. And this should help to bury our worries. As powerful as these machines are, they still need us as humans in the loop to guide and the issue of plagiarism, art exhibition, I've mentioned, jobs and incomes losses. I think I've already addressed this at large. There's a very small percentage of jobs that will go extinct, but be rest assured, AI is going to generate a whole lot more jobs that don't yet exist, that we don't yet know about. So, and this has been consistent with automation throughout since from the first industrial revolution. We are just on the fourth industrial revolution, and we're going to have many more revolutions in the future. So the point has been proven over and over and over. AI or automation actually increases jobs and grows economies. It doesn't decrease economies, or it doesn't kill jobs. It may kill a few redundant jobs, but it creates a whole lot more new jobs that we don't yet know. Prompt engineering is one example. You've never seen anybody that says, I'm a prompt engineer now, but it's gonna be, have a look at the end of December. You'll see people with roles as prompt engineers, etc. And you can yourself become a prompt engineer also. And then in terms of opportunities, if we look at the movie Avatar as a use case, James Cameron had to wait for a very long time because he had that idea in the early 2000s, but he didn't have the technology that was required to actually go and create that movie. And Avatar is one good case example of how in the cinematography space, cinematography can be infused with AI to generate that type of exciting 3D content, very rich content that can be created. Imagine if we create that kind of content within the Zulu setup, the Venda setup, the Xhosa setup, whatever scenario that you can think of, infuse that type of AI into that type of setting, and therefore digitizing our identity as a people, as a language, as a culture, etc. And then scaling up of libraries or knowledge as a service. This is very much, it hits home to me and Andy Le. I know Andy Le is on the call because we come from a very impoverished background, so to say. When I did my degree, my undergrad degree, I could not afford to buy a textbook because textbooks were expensive. I only lived on copies. ChatGPT provides the opportunity to scale up libraries. You literally have the knowledge of the whole world in your pocket. And I will leave it there. The opportunities are endless. I've already spoken about language culture preservation. I won't labor the point. Scaling up of education. Some of you might have seen my post on Facebook. So the numbers are as follows. They say this year, 2022, about 900K, just under 1 million matriculants wrote the exam, or they passed the exam. Of those that passed, the 26 universities that we have can only take about between 100K to 160K. The Vice Chancellor of UCT, in a welcome speech, said that they received over 100K applications, but they could only take 4,000. 4,000. That is less than 1% of the applicants. What if we could utilize ChatGPT and cross the borders of brick and mortar and actually take it online? I'm giving you business ideas now. I don't mind. You can steal it and quote me. It's fine. Go ahead and do it. Because we need this tech in Africa. We need this tech. There's no reason why we should be behind. And then code assistant, I've labored the point. Creation of new jobs, I've labored the point. Advancing our cause as a civilization, I've labored the point. Co-authoring research papers, foster creativity, storytelling, and design, I've labored the point. And this is my last slide, and I wanna end with this. So in the IT space, there is a rule that we normally refer to, which we call Moore's law. Moore was a physicist. I think he's still alive. I can't remember if he passed away. It must have been recently. Moore is the co-founder of the company Intel that normally produce chips, from which Silicon Valley is referred to. So what Moore's law says is every 18 months, computers grow exponentially every 18 months. So 18 months in computer terms is equivalent to 10 years in human life cycles. So Moore's law was as such used to explain the speed at which processing was growing and how much knowledge and processing was being experienced in the industry. However, there is a consensus in the computing space that with the advent of AI that we are seeing now, Moore's law is now redundant. Moore's law is no longer sufficient to explain the age where we are and indeed the age where we are going. The only other law that is there, or scale mechanism that we have, is what we call the Kardashev scale. The Kardashev scale is a very simple rule. All it does is it describes civilizations by energy processing and information. And we've got what we call type 1 civilization, type 2 civilization, and type 3 civilization. A type 1 civilization is a civilization that can harness the energy that reaches its planet from the sun. That is, it is an interplanetary civilization. This is what Elon Musk is trying to, this is the gospel that Elon Musk is trying to preach to us. So as a human being, currently, if you check this on Wikipedia, we are not yet type 1 civilization. I mean, for simple reasons, our solar system currently, we are able to harness about 15% of the energy of the sun. If you are lucky, you have the cutting edge solar technology, you can get as max as 22% of the energy from the sun. So we are not yet type 1 civilization, but I think we are type 0.6, we are growing towards there, but we are not yet there. A type 2 civilization is a civilization that harnesses the energy of the star. These are Dyson spheres. That is, they are interstellar. So this is a civilization that travels between stars. You know, they've got Dyson spheres. They are, you know, they've got very advanced civilization. And then type 3 civilization is a civilization that harnesses the energy of the galaxy. So they are galactic civilization. They are intergalactic and whatnot. Why am I mentioning all this? All of this is in line with our projection as a species, as a people. This is the future that we are facing. This is where we are going. And we need to understand this in order to be relevant in the times that we are facing. We need to be understanding this the same way that we understood Moore's law and we applied Moore's law. And ladies and gentlemen, with this said, I would like to thank you. And I'm happy to take any more questions or comments that might be. Sorry?
Yes, no, thank you so much, man. I think, yeah, this was pretty much amazing. Yeah, I think let's give him a virtual round of applause, you know. But yeah, this was very great. I don't know if there are any questions. If I missed some of your questions in the chat, please, this is the time to you can raise up your hand and then, you know, we can share. Okay, it looks like we don't really have any questions per se, but yeah, Bax, I think before I close, I can just allow you to say your closing remarks, then we can actually end the session.
Yeah, great. So thanks a lot, and thanks everyone for attending. And I hope as per the reactions that I've seen, you guys got something out of this, and most importantly, you can go and apply some of this. I am available. My email address, I'm going to leave it here, datascientist.bax@gmail.com. So if you want to reach out, I'm available on LinkedIn. I'm available on Facebook. Reach out and yeah, let's talk. Let's engage. I wanted to paste my oh yeah, to everyone, I think. Yeah, there we go. And let's engage. And thanks for dialing in. If you need me to speak to an audience or whatever the case, if I can be of any use to you, reach out. Let's talk. Let's advance this course. And yeah, hope you got something quite useful from this session. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bax. It was really definitely an informative session. Like we did say, we would email you. The audience will email you guys, you know, the information, including the video, how you'll be able to access the video as well. But yeah, thank you so much. This was just the first of probably sessions that we might continue having going forward. So if you can just look out on the social media, but we will also email you in advance if we do have other sessions that we're doing. But yeah, thank you so much for coming through. And yeah, I also need to go. I'm going to start working on that album because I need to release by the end of this month. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, awesome. This is yeah, this is the end of the session, guys. Thank you very much, and have yourself a great evening further. Thank you. Bye.
And before we go, I just want to check in. Tammy, did I answer your? Did I answer some of your talking points? Are you happy?
Absolutely. I think it was quite nice to see the
Awesome.
diverse. Yeah, there's just so much out there that's being done already. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Have a fantastic evening. Cheers.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Have a blessed evening. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.